Raphaël Melançon, political analyst, of course, also columnist for the Montreal Gazette. He's here at CJAD 800 and CTV. So, Raph, I thought, I know we didn't get a chance to speak yesterday when the whole Marilyn Gladu thing happened, but I want to talk about that now because, of course, the Liberal Convention is in town this weekend. It's a question was asked of Mark Carney today, and I thought for our discussion, I have a new intro for the what seems to be happening pretty regularly now for the Liberals when there's a floor crosser. So here's my new intro for that.
Another one crossed the floor, another one crossed the floor, and another one crossed, and another one crossed, another one crossed the floor.
See, they could play this when there's another floor crosser because it's becoming a thing now. So, plus I like this guy's voice.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great. So yes, indeed, a fifth floor crosser for Mark Carney, and it's quite a rare event, in politics. The only two, in Canadian history, the only two prime ministers who were able to convince more floor crossers than Mark Carney were John A. Macdonald and Jean Chrétien. So Macdonald had 9, Jean Chrétien had 8, and so far Mark Carney's got 5 now with the addition of Marilyn Gladu. So he's getting towards the top 3 now. He's within the top 3 of all prime ministers who got the most floor crossers in Canadian history since Confederation in 1867. So
I'm going to take a wild guess. This was not on Mark Carney's bingo card when he started as prime minister, huh?
No, but the question now, Aaron, is because there's eyebrows raising because now Marilyn Gladu, of all the conservative MPs that could have crossed the floor, left their party to join the Liberals, Marilyn Gladu was probably the least one that everybody would have expected to cross the floors because ideologically speaking, she's a very social conservative. She's far away ideologically speaking from the Liberal Party, and so that's why Mark Carney had to answer questions today about that because he's. At what cost at some point is Mark Carney going to put aside the fundamental values of the Liberal Party in terms of gender equality, for instance, but also LGBTQ rights to welcome and to eventually welcome new MPs. But we all know that the goal here is to get the majority he's looking for. And to me, my question is, was it really worthy to have to be on the defensive all day today because of that? Whereas in the end, we know that there's going to be 3 by-elections on Monday, and 2 of these by-elections are being held in Liberal strongholds. So in the end, by Monday, no matter what, Mark Carney will have his majority in Parliament. So does he really need to have the support of Marilyn Gladu? That's to me, that's the big question mark.
Yeah, but Raph, it's more than likely, of course, that he's going to win one or at least both of those in Ontario. But, you would have passed up on taking someone as high profile as Marilyn Gladu and have her cross the floor? Why would you pass up on that?
And she's obviously not a high profile. Probably most people in Canada have absolutely no
but when I say high profile, I mean within the party. She's been there since 2015. She's a Harper conservative. And again, she also was a real diehard conservative, right? She's an anti-vaxxer, supported the trucker rally. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but the risk on the other side, Aaron, is also to create turmoil within your own party because the problem that Mark Carney is going to be facing at some point is to reconcile the ideas of people who are coming from very opposite sides of the political spectrum. He recruited, out of the 5 that he recruited, there were 3 what we would call red Tories, so soft conservatives. There's 1 coming from the NDP, and then you have Marilyn Gladu. So these people don't share the same ideas and the same agenda in the end. And within the Liberal Party also, let's not forget that most of Mark Carney's team also are Trudeau Liberals. So people who were leaning towards the center-left of politics, whereas you have someone like Marilyn Gladu who comes up and she's taken stances in the past that are quite controversial, especially for people on the left. So she's taken stances against abortion. She was opposed to banning conversion therapies for LGBTQ people. She also spread misinformation during the pandemic. She was also blamed by her leader at the time, Erin O'Toole, for spreading misinformation and supporting the Freedom Convoy during the pandemic. So she is quite controversial. So how is she going to fit within her new team, and what's going to be the reaction within the party as well? Are Liberals leaning towards the left going to be questioning their association with the Liberal Party? The NDP has a new leader now. Could some of them be tempted to leave for the NDP? So yes, you're gaining one more seat, but at what cost in the end for your party and your government?
I would just, as a counterpoint, and I understand what you're saying, and I think people will agree, but I would say, imagine though, you could look and say, look at what a wide tent we have where we can take someone with opposing views as an individual and still bring them into the Liberal fold. I mean, that's a bit of an achievement.
Yes, there's wide tent, and there's a coalition that's way too large at some point. And I feel like the timing of it all is so bad because we have a very important by-election happening here in the riding of Terrebonne. It's probably going to be a very tight race. And what kind of message do you send, especially to the women voters of Terrebonne, when just a few days before people head to the polls, you welcome within your party someone who has taken very clear stances against abortion in the past, against the free will, the free choice of women to choose for their own bodies. So I feel like this is fueling right now. This is something that certainly the Bloc Québécois is going to be using against the Liberals within the next few days to try and make gains in Terrebonne there.
Okay, that's a fair point. Beyond this, and this is obviously the story, here they are, Liberals in town for their convention. Beyond this, what are we expecting to come out of this?
4,500 participants. That's a lot of people who are gathering starting today at the Palais des Congrès. So, and just a fun anecdote here. How much do you think it costs to be a participant in this convention? Do you have any idea, Aaron?
You mean just to be able to show up?
Just to be able to show up, to have access to the convention.
There's a fee?
There's a fee.
I had no idea.
And it's quite expensive.
Less than Canadians tickets?
Close. I have not been at the Canadians at a Canadians game for a long time, but I would say probably close to it.
It's $300.
So the early bird special was $700.
Whoa!
$700. And now, if you want to subscribe right now to enter the convention, it's $1,000. So talk about party democracy that's accessible only if you can afford it. That's the party of the people. So whenever people are saying this is an elite party, I feel like I have never seen that. I mean, a few $100, I've seen it in the past to access a party convention like that. But $700 up to $1,000 if you subscribe right now, that's quite expensive, to be honest. So yes, those 4,500 people did pay their fees. They did pay their $700 to get access to the convention. And one of the, of course, they're going to be talking a lot about their ideas, the vision they're going to propose for the next election. So it's paving the way, Aaron, eventually to having an election. And as we know, the rumors are quite strong still on the Hill in Ottawa that we could have a snap election. Mark Carney, looking at the polls right now, sees an opportunity to maybe surprise the Conservatives, who are up to 15 points behind them at the moment in voting intentions. And we could have, as soon as this spring, we could have general elections in Canada. So this is also a good opportunity for the party to prepare their members, to train their volunteers and their candidates in view of that election that could be happening as soon as within the next few months.
So look, just to go back to this, first of all, I would not have guessed it was anywhere close to that amount of money to spend just to show up at a Liberal convention. Why would you want to spend that kind of money? And I'm asking seriously here, like, what's the advantage for you to say, I was there? What comes from this, from you being there?
I think it's FOMO. It's just to be part of it, to say that you were there, and probably, I guess, that many of these members who are seeing the polls at the moment might be tempted to become candidates for the Carney Liberals. So they want to be there. They want to be seen as part of the team, and eventually maybe have a chance at putting their face on an electoral sign. But one of the guest keynote speakers that they are going to be hearing during the weekend is, believe it or not, our mayor, Soraya Martinez Ferrada.
Oh.
And Yes, she will be there. She'll be attending, and she'll be giving a lecture, a speech to the members who are gathered at the Palais des Congrès. And I know, it's happening in Montreal. Yes, she's the mayor of the city, but at the same time, you've got to be careful. You're the mayor of Montreal. You're no longer a member of the Liberal Party. You're no longer an MP. You're no longer a minister. So you have to keep a certain distance between you and your former party so that people don't really closely associate you with the Liberals. Because at some point, if there's a change in government, let's say there's an election happening in the next few months, and the Conservatives, by surprise, come to power, you still have to deal with them as mayor of Montreal. So I would be careful. My advice to the mayor would be careful, because you don't want to be too closely associated to the Liberal Party at the moment.
Well, you worry too much. I mean, my thinking would be she wants to be there because that way she can say, you know what, Montreal needs this, Montreal needs that, federal money for this, that. That would be the chance to get out there and say it. I wouldn't be concerned that, you're going to upset Conservatives who have, a snowball's chance in hell of winning the next election. So is that a little overly cautious?
I have to disagree there, because you can, knowing that the Prime Minister will be in town, you can always invite him over to City Hall to meet him.
Yeah, he's already here, Raph. He's already in town. What do you have to invite him over to City Hall for? Show up at the convention.
Do you really have to go and give a speech to the members gathered there? Do you really have to? I don't think so. I think you have to be careful. As a former Liberal elected official, you have to be careful not to be. She's the leader of Ensemble Montréal. This is a party within her own team. She has people coming from all walks of life, from all different parties. She's got sovereignists within her team. It's not a Liberal Party, municipal version of the Liberal Party. It's a different party. So you have to keep a certain distance, at least. We know that she was a Liberal. She has her values might still be, her heart might still be with the Liberal Party, but you got to be careful and keep your independence.
I'm not buying it, because I think if there was a Conservative convention in town and it was in Montreal, she's the mayor, she'd be speaking there too. So you and I should open a firm together giving advice, because we have completely opposing views as to what someone should do at the end of the day. I think that'd be good, and then people could decide what to do. I think it'd be fun. Okay, Raph, we shall see. Are you going to the convention?
I'm not. You mean the one in Drummondville, or the one in Montreal?
No, the one in Montreal.
There's also the one in Drummondville, because let's not forget that we are going to have a new provincial premier on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And the new leader of the CQ will be elected on Sunday in Drummondville. I'm not going to any of them, because it's I don't have right now $1,000 to subscribe to the Liberal one.
All right. By the way, the 700 or 1,000, is it all you can eat at the Liberal convention? Do you know?
It is. The only thing that's provided to you is the food. So I hope people have a seat there and eat for at least $1,000 worth of food.
All right.
I'm Luke Wilson. Join me each week for Film Never Lies. Since retiring from the NFL, I've had a lot on my mind, and now I've got my own show. So if you're tired of lazy takes, if you want honest conversations, join us each week. Film Never Lies, available on all TSN platforms and the iHeartRadio app.